Alrighty guys, I'm Casey and welcome on back to a brand new episode of our Stoneblock 2 adventure, guys. Last episode, we set to work on getting ourselves some water. We got ourselves some mighty old fiery lava. And we also set up our first Tinker smeltery in this world. And today guys, well, I want to tackle the quest book a little bit more. You see, there are a couple of things here that I want to get into today. Yes, I do. Now, the first thing I want to get into is Tinker's tools. That is the most important thing that I want to get into today. I want to get myself a hammer. I want to get myself an axe. I want to get myself some really good tools that are going to make things a lot more easier for us. That's thing number one. Thing number two, guys, is I want to go ahead and visit the mining dimension. And that's an interesting one because we got to dig up to get there. So that's the second thing that I want to do today. And the third thing that I want to do today is upgrade our cobblestone generator to at least a tier 2. So we've got quite a few things we want to get done today. But we're going to pick up right where we left off at the end of last episode. Guys, remember at the end of last episode, we were making this seared brick to make our Tinker smeltery. Well, I want to make our Tinker smeltery a little bit bigger because this Tinker smeltery in its current form can smelt 9 items, guys. 1 for each block we have inside the furnace. Now, if we were to get enough seared brick to go ahead and raise this up by a block, so if we were to lift this up by a block here and add another layer, we would get double the smelting capacity. Instead of 9, we'd have 18 slots. Now, going ahead and making ourselves some clay, some sand, and some dust. All the stuff that we need to do to get some more seared brick is a little bit tedious, but there is another way, guys. There is another way. What we're going to do is we're just going to quickly grab ourselves some cobblestone here. We're going to go ahead and just make ourselves some compressed cobblestone real quickly here, guys. I want to make it a little bit more than that. Because, you see, if we were to go into here and go ahead and put some cobblestone in, right, we can actually smelt this down. Now, it's going to tell us that there's not enough heat to smelt this item. Yep, that is a little bit of a problem, guys. So let's just remedy that by putting some lava into our tank. And boom, our cobblestone is going to start turning into seared brick. Now, this takes a little bit of time, guys. So just bear with it. Now they've smelted down, guys, we've got ourselves some some seared stone. We can just pour this out into the casting basin to get ourselves a brand new block of this seared brick. Now, it's going to look a slight bit different. It's going to look like the stone variant, but it'll still work the exact same way. And we can do this again. Now, this is obviously tedious because it takes a little bit for 9 to do, and we can only put 9 in here. But we can actually stick compressed cobblestone in here, and oddly enough, that smelts down a lot quicker. So we just smelted, what was that? 9 times 9 is 81. 81 seared, 81 cobblestone to get ourselves some seared stone. So we can go ahead and we can start making ourselves some more of these seared brick and bring this up. Now, while I do this, guys, I'm also working on expanding this sieve here. And I want to do just a couple of quality life things right here. The first thing that I want to do is I want to grab myself a new crafting table. What we're going to do, we're going to make ourselves a crafting table. We're going to make it into this crafting station. And this is a lot easier because, like I taught you in the last episode, guys, you go ahead and you could hammer down compressed cobblestone to get yourself more gravel a lot more quickly. And that's exactly what I kind of want to do here. And this just is a bit of a quality of life thing when it comes to it, because we can do things a little bit easier with this. So, if I grab myself some cobblestone right here, that's not the cobblestone generator, that's the cobblestone generator. And I make myself up some hammers, make ourselves 10 hammers up here. What I can do is I can actually just hold the shift button and the left mouse click to just send all those hammers straight into the crafting station and put my compressed hammer out. And I can do this with the gravel as well. So if I mine this like so, grab this gravel up. I think I need to mine one more piece here. Yes, I do. If I do this, mine myself another piece right here. Then I can just go over here and throw all of this in and grab myself out that compressed gravel like so. Now, what I want to do is I want to expand these sieves to a 3x3 grid. So I need 9 all in all. And I'm going to do them with a flint mesh. So I'm going to get on that, guys. And then back with you. So now that we've built this up another level, we can actually take a more in-depth look to see how this smeltery works. You see, what happens with this smeltery is it smelts us down items. So it can smelt a wide array of items and pretty much every single ore that's in the game. And that is where we're going to start. We're going to start with ore because that is the most important thing. So, last episode, we received ourselves some gravel in our flint meshes, and we got ourselves a bunch of resources here. And we got ourselves, some gold as well. A lot of this can actually be smelted down within the Tinker Smeltery. Now, if we were to take a iron ore piece, you can see that's actually not going to smelt down, because there is a step that we need to take before we do this, and that is to go ahead and smelt it up like so, or craft it up like so into these chunks. And if we were to put a chunk in here, like so, it is going to start smelting down. Now, we can do other things with these chunks as well. We can throw them into our furnace, like so. And I'm going to show you guys the difference between doing them in a furnace and doing them in the smeltery. So, the furnace is going to smelt an iron chunk down, and that's going to generate us 1 ingot. However, if we were to do this within the smeltery, that iron ore chunk is actually going to become 2 ingots, effectively doubling our resources. And this works with all of the different ores. So this silver ore, we can take this silver ore, we can craft this up into the silver ore chunk, and we can go ahead and smelt that in the smeltery as well. And we can do this with pretty much any ore within the game. There you go. Molten iron, 2 ingots. However, to get this out, we need to do one of 2 things. We can either pull this out in the form of an ingot or in the form of a block. Now, to do the ingot, we need something called an ingot cast, and we're going to get to that a little bit later on. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to get this 2 ingots over 9 ingots. So all we need to do is we need to come here, sieve some more gravel, make sure that we've got ourselves enough. Now, if I take this ingot and I throw this ingot in here, now it's not going to double the ingot, but it will add that 1 ingot to the grand total, making us 9. And why do we need 9? Well, because it takes 9 iron ingots to make 1 iron block. And that is vanilla Minecraft right there. And we can only pull blocks out of here at the moment because we don't have an ingot cast. And we are going to look into how to get an ingot cast in just a moment. But for right now, we're going to let this smelt up. So with 9 ingots smelted, we actually get 1 full block, which is exactly what we wanted. And we can go ahead and pull that entire block out. Now, we are going to look at ways to pull out just ingots instead of blocks, because it's not ideal to have to smelt 9 down every single time you just want 1 ingot. But for now, we are going to start off with the blocks, because what I want to do is I want to get some more of these resources here. But you see, we've got to sift sand, gravel, and dust. And what I like to do is I like to get myself a stack of compressed of all of them. So I've got myself a compressed stack of gravel here. I'm going to get myself one of sand and one of dust. And I want to sieve them down. However, the drop rates for the flint mesh are insanely low. Well, not insanely low, but they are relatively low. So what we can do is we can take our flint mesh and we can actually upgrade it to an iron mesh, similar to how we upgraded the string mesh. And what this will do is this will probably give us the best rates in the game. Now, the diamond has some better rates for certain ones, but we also lose some of the things that we can get from sieving once we move up to diamond. But the iron one is going to do us great. So I'm going to sieve through 1 stack of compressed sand. Now, obviously, you can't sieve the compressed stuff. Not in a regular sieve, you can't. There are ways to do that, but we're not going to focus on that just yet. So I'm going to get myself my gravel. I'm going to turn this back into regular gravel. And I'm going to sit here, I'm going to hold right click, and I'm going to sieve through this. And I'm going to try and spread this iron mesh to the rest of these ones here when I get some more iron. So I'm going to keep an eye on my iron count here. I'm also going to do this with sand and then with dust, just to get myself some resources. And then we're going to look into actually making some weapons and some tools. Partway through the sieving, I've ran into a issue, guys. I'm running out of cobblestone quickly. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a moment to look at this situation and remedy it. So we're going to go ahead and break the cobblestone generator, because if we take a look in our quest book, there's actually a quest to upgrade it to tier 2. And tier 2 is going to generate more cobblestone for us, or at least cobblestone much, much quicker. And it's a very simple process. All we got to do is we just got to make a circle of iron and stick the cobblestone generator right in the middle of it. And boom. This is going to make us 1 cobblestone every 20 ticks now, meaning that that number is going to go up significantly quicker and significantly. So while the cobblestone generates, guys, we're going to take a little bit of a look. Oh, there's a leaf up there. We're going to take a little bit of a look at some quality of life upgrades. The first one I've done is I've gone ahead and I've stuck a hopper on top of this cauldron, also this crucible. And I've just put some cobblestone in here. Now you can use a wooden hopper, that's perfectly fine. I just had some iron hoppers or some normal hoppers laying around in my chest. I must have got them as a reward or something. Not sure what they were doing there, but I used them anyway on here, and I've just stuck some in. You can also put a chest under there, and that's just going to hopefully siphon cobblestone into this crucible for us. That's the first quality of life. The second one is the lava situation right here, guys. I want to sort of remedy that a little bit, because every time I need to fill this up a little bit, I need to go ahead and craft up a clay bucket, and that's just not going to work out long term for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour ourselves some iron here, and we're going to make ourselves an iron bucket as we normally would use in vanilla Minecraft. And the recipe is the exact same. We just need to use 3 iron ingots. I've only got the one right here, but this one will generate us 3. Now that we've got the iron, guys, it's just a simple case of making ourselves a bucket. And this is going to make filling up this so much easier and simpler. And again, this is automatically renewing thanks to the hopper on top, so we don't have to worry about lava too much. We could do with putting a chest up there, and we'll probably do that later. But for right now, this is going to work the way that I want it to do. But I want to turn my attention now to getting ingots out of here instead of getting out blocks. Because yes, blocks are good when we've got it in multiplications of the blocks. But what if we only have a couple of ingots in there? We want to get those out. Well, we need to tackle that. Now, there are a couple of ways that we can do this, but the main thing that we need is what's called a cast. And if we have a little look at this, these are the different casts here. We've got the clay casts, but they are available to us right now, yes, but we only get use of them one time. Then they break, so they're not good long term. The other casts are these blank casts here, or these casts here. And we are looking at the ingot cast, and this is made through putting gold over anything ingot shaped. So we've done ourselves some sieving, so we should have ourselves some gold. We do. We have ourselves a good old 64 pieces of gold. So we go ahead and we can throw the gold into here. Now, before you start throwing any metals into this smeltery, the smeltery will alloy 2 different metals together if it has a combo. So right now, make sure that you might alloy. Words, difficult. Make sure you smelt them individually unless you know 100% that they aren't going to alloy. Now, I know iron and gold don't make anything when they mix together, so they will remain separate once in the smeltery. But if I was to throw in silver with gold, the silver and the gold would fuse together to create electrum, and thus I wouldn't be able to pull out the gold. Now that we've got ourselves the gold in there, we can make ourselves a cast by just putting any ingot in there. You can use a brick for this. You can use a seared brick for this, so you don't have to waste an iron ingot. But remember, whatever we put here is going to be destroyed. So this iron ingot is going to go. But I'm going to pour the gold over the iron ingot. And what that's going to do is that's going to form a gold cast around the iron ingot, allowing me now to extract a simple ingot from it. I can extract any ingot from any metal that I put inside of there. Now, I do definitely want the gold in there, guys, because we do want to start looking at making tools now. But to do that, we need to get ourselves a couple of more things first. So now, guys, is where we really start to get into tinkers, and it does get a little bit confusing at this point because we need to make a lot of stuff for tinkers. But I'm going to try and break it down as best I can, and we're going to go piece of equipment by piece of equipment. Now, the first thing that we're going to want to create is something called a stencil. And we do that by simply taking 2 planks and 2 sticks like so, and grabbing these. Sorry, not a stencil, a pattern. That's what we want to create, a blank pattern. Now, what we need to create is the center of our tinker's place, the center of our tinker's workshop. And you can look in the book for this, guys, because it is in the book. We've got it right here. Make a tool forge. So, making this is easy. We're going to start with just making a regular forge. And all we're going to do is we're going to take a crafting table. We're going to put ourselves one of these blank patterns on top of that crafting table. And that gets us this tool station. Now, this is a predecessor to the tool forge. And anything that you see here are tools that you can make while using the tool station. Now, I'm going to upgrade this to the tool forge, guys. And hopefully you guys are going to come with me for that. And I've accidentally just pulled out some gold. But that's okay. Now, to upgrade this to the tool forge, if we have a look in the, whoops-a-daisy, that is not my inventory button. That was the other button. If we look in here and we type in forge, we've got a wide array of forges. And you can make the forge out of pretty much any metal or alloy in the game. So it doesn't really matter which one we pick, because we're going to make it the same way. we're going to make it using the blocks of the equipment. Now, this one says electric steel. We're not going to worry about that because you can make this out of iron. I just can't quite see the iron one. There's the iron one. So we need 4 blocks of iron. We need ourselves 3 blocks of steered brick. And we also need the tool station. And all of those we now know how to get. So I've got the tool station right here. And I need my blocks of iron out of here. But I also have my seared brick right here, ready and waiting to go. So I am going to use iron purely because iron is a much more easily renewable source at the moment than gold is. And I'm going to need the gold for the cast. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself 4 iron blocks out of here. So with those 4 iron blocks, guys, we go ahead and we can craft up our tool forge like so. And this is the first major block. Now, you don't need the tool forge for every tool, but you do need it for certain tools. And that one particular tool is this one right here, the hammer. Why do you need the hammer? Well, the hammer mines in a 3x3 area, meaning that we can clear out our rooms a lot quicker within our base, and we can actually start building a lot more quicker and easier. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make up 2 different tools. We're going to make up the regular pickaxe, and we're also going to make up the hammer. And by making those 2 tools, guys, I'll be able to teach you how to make every single tool that you see here. So we're going to start with a simple tool called the pickaxe. Now, for this, we need parts. Now, parts we get from a forge called the part builder. It's a little tool called the part builder. And I can never quite remember what the recipe is 100%. Is this it? Yes, this is the part builder. I always get mixed up between the part builder and the stencil table. But we're going to make ourselves the part builder. So we put the part builder down here. And this is where we craft our parts. But there are no parts here to craft at the minute. And that's because we need to use blank patterns to craft them. And we need to turn these blank patterns into the part pattern that we need. So, for example, for the pickaxe, we need a pickaxe head, which is obviously this bit here, which means we need a pattern with that shape on it. But how do we get that shape onto this pattern? Well, that comes from the other part that we need to do, which is called the stencil table, and that is crafted like this. And that's the stencil table. And we can put our stencil table down right here. Put in ourselves a pattern, and we can pick what pattern that we want off of this selection here to the left-hand side. So we go ahead and we can click the pickaxe head. We can get that. Now, if we go back to here, we can see that we also need a tool rod and a binding. So we can go into here, we can find the binding. The shapes always look very, very similar, if not identical. And we can find ourselves a tool rod. Now, be careful because there are 2 tool rod different icons. There is a normal tool rod and a tough tool rod. Same with the bindings. There is a standard binding and then a tough binding. These are not interchangeable. If the part requires a regular binding, you must use a regular binding. Same with the tool shaft. However, if it requires the tough binding, you must also use the tough binding. You cannot use the regular one. So just keep that in mind. Now, once we've got these, we can start making our parts. Now, we need resources to make our parts out. If we put our part that we want to make into here, we can then put a resource in here. So, iron, yes, we can make a iron head, but not in here. This won't allow us to use metals. It will only allow us to use certain resources, like cobblestone, wood, and stuff like that. So we can go ahead and we can make up ourselves a cobblestone head. We can go ahead and put in this, make ourselves up a binding. I'm actually going to make 2 of each of these for the purposes of this tutorial. And then we can make ourselves our stone tool rod. And what this allows us to do now is to go ahead and craft up the part that we want. So we go ahead and we can stick in the tool rod. Brilliant. We can stick in the binding. Brilliant. And we can stick in the head. Brilliant. There we go. We got our stone pickaxe. But stone is good. It's alright. But what about iron? We need iron. And we can't just go ahead and make iron by using this table. We've just tried that. It doesn't let us do that. That's where we have to go back over here and look at the iron that is in our forge. We need molten iron to make this. And we do this by simply making casts. So, we're going to take our stonehead pickaxe. Now, all casts, as I said when we made the ingot cast, must be made out of gold or hardened clay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pour some gold over our pickaxe head, like so. And what that's going to do is that's going to destroy the stone pickaxe head, but it's going to leave behind the pattern. So we go ahead and we can switch this to iron by just left-clicking, right-click our iron into here. And what that'll do is that'll make us an iron pickaxe head, like so. It takes a little bit of time for the metal to harden. Brilliant. There we go. We got our iron pickaxe. We could do this with all of the different bindings. So we go ahead and switch to the gold one. We could do it on the binding, like so. Remember, we lose the binding part or the original part that we put into here. So we're going to do this twice over. We're going to do this for once for each of the ones that we want. So we've got the binding and now we've got the tool rod. So we're going to switch over to the iron. Once this is hardened, we can go ahead and pour the iron into here. Now you can pour pretty much any metal or alloy in here. And different alloys and different metals do different things. I like to start out with iron just simply because we have an abundance of it. It's easy to get our hands on. And it's just something that is quick and easy to do. But if you actually type in the tool rod, see tool rod, the part, sorry, if you type that into here, if we type in tool rod, whoops, I put in talk. Where's my rod? So, we type in the tool rod here. You can see all of the different ones, and these all have different attributes and stats. So, if we go ahead and we look over the sponge one, the durability for a head is 1000. And mining speed is 3.0, but it only allows us to mine up to the mining level of stone. We can look at bone. We can look at kryptonite or cryonite. You know, there's all different ones here. You can sort of pick the ones that you want. But for the early game, we're going to go with iron is perfectly fine. So, we could just craft this up the same way that we crafted up the previous pickaxe. And there we go. We've got our pickaxe. Now, that's the pickaxe, but what about the hammer? The hammer is pretty much identical to what we've just done. So we go ahead and we select the hammer. We need a large plate, a hammerhead, and a tough tool rod. So we're going to go here. It looks like I'm going to need some more blank patterns, so that's fine. We can just craft up some more like so. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to put these in here, and we're going to grab out what we need. We needed ourselves a tough tool rod. Brilliant. We needed ourselves 2 of these plates, but we only need 1 pattern because we can use the same pattern to make 2. And we needed the hammerhead like so. And then we go into here. We can throw in this. Now, we are going to need some more cobblestone because it does require multiple. See, this says material cost 8. So we need 8 stone to make it. It does say there 4 because we don't have enough in. So if we stick all of that in, we can see we've got 68 stone in here. More than enough to go ahead and pull out the hammerhead. And we can use this. Is our tough tool rod? Yes, it is. We can make our tough tool rod. And then we go ahead and we can make a plate. We only need to make 1 plate because we are going to make these into their iron equivalent. So we're going to come over here. We're going to pop these away. We are going to put in the stone tool rod. We're going to switch that over to gold. And we're going to pour the gold over this. Now, you can make up several casting tables. You can have several of these faucets to make this whole thing a little bit easier for yourself. And to save you having to keep switching them out every time, you can do that. There's no limit to how many you can really put around this thing as long as you've got the space to. And we'll look into that more in a little bit. Or rather, in the next episode. Where's my hammerhead? But what are you going to end up with when you keep doing this? You're going to end up with a lot of patterns and a lot of casts. And that's going to be quite inventory heavy. But don't worry, there is something that we can do about that. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to pour that. Now, while that pours out, because that's got 8 to do, it's going to take a little bit of time. Let's have a look at how we can successfully store these. And what we need is a couple of chests. Because pretty much everything in Tinkers is done using patterns. So let's grab out our patterns with our chest. And what we can do is we can take the chest. We can put the patterns above the chest. And we can get these pattern chests. And then we can just pop these down. And we can store in our patterns in one. And our casts in the other. So we can pop those away. Keep out the ones that we need. Obviously, good, the hammerhead as done. So let's go ahead and put the tough tool rod down. We're going to pour that iron into there. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with this large plate cast. But remember, it requires 2 large plates. Meaning that I'm going to have to make up 2 of these by simply pouring iron in. I do believe we are going to have enough iron. Yes, we will. So I'm going to get these all made up. Now that it's made up, what we're going to do is come over here to our forge, click our hammer, and start putting our pieces in. Now, I've deliberately made a small mistake here by accidentally, air quotes, crafting up 2 tough tool rods. Now, we're going to craft this hammer first of all. There's our hammer, there's our pickaxe. But now we're going to look at the accidental mistake that I made by accidentally making another iron tough tool rod. Now, sure, I can use this to go ahead and make an excavator or a hatchet, and I probably will in the future. But what happens if you've made a mistake with one and you don't need that part? It could just go to waste. Well, no, you could actually throw the parts back into the smeltery and smelt them down for the resources back. So don't worry if you accidentally craft the wrong thing or accidentally make too many of a certain thing. You can always throw them back in here and simply make yourself a brand new one. And that's easy. Now, I'm going to head up, crafted up some drying racks to go ahead and pop those on there just so I get a nice little screenshot for our Tinker's Tools. Yeah, that's looking good. But guys, that is our Tinker's Tools. And if we grab these back, guys, I can show you a little bit more because I do want to put an entrance right about here. So the pickaxe does 1, but the hammer does a 3x3 area, as you can see. It just makes clearing out rooms so much easier and so much quicker. And I do want to get a forge, a really cool looking forge, up and running. And really want it to actually look rather nice. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this episode, I'm afraid. So, if you've enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. It really helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate it. So please do leave that like, and hit subscribe if you want to see more from me. Guys, I'm Casey, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.